Hi parents, I'm Coach Vieira, state certified teacher and science of reading specialist. The kids just call me Coach V. I've been teaching reading skills for over 30 years and I've become one of the nation's leading experts on the English spelling, writing, and reading system, the author of 23 books on Amazon on spelling, reading, and vocabulary. And I am here to help you learn all the skills you need to help your kids read and succeed. Visit the academic gym where you can learn more about what we do as we blend phonics, fitness, and fun so that kids could learn outside the box with exceptional excellence. Phonics, fitness, and fun all become one. Let's go! All right, parents, this is Coach V from the academic gym. Once again, let's take a look at what your children need to know in order to read, write, and spell exceptionally well. So if your kids were in first grade or kindergarten or even pre-K during the pandemic, more than likely now they're approaching grades 4 and 5. And this is where you need to pay close attention because kids who lost school time, actual classroom time during the pandemic have not yet caught up. Most of them are lagging behind. In fact, those who were in the earlier grades are actually lagging behind even more than those who were, let's say, in first or second grades. So now, knowing that fact, you need to approach this and say, how do I find out what my kids actually know? First, let's take a look at what they need to know. So by fourth grade, if you're looking at literacy standards, your kids should be able to do the following. They should be able to know and apply grade level phonics and word analysis in decoding words. What does that mean? It means, for example, if I look at a word like this, I'll give you a simple word. Come out here and take a look at words beginning with prefixes. So if I look at a word like unchanging, okay, here's a good word, unchanging. I'm going to highlight that here. Okay, so well, I know that word, but the key is to recognize that this is is a common prefix. A word like incompatible, for example. Challenging word, but again, knowing the prefix, in means not, un means not. Discomfort, dis means not. All right, if I scroll up a little bit more here, and I can take a look at words like disassemble. Okay, this is a great word that kids should know. And again, words like inarticulate, disadvantage, inaccessible. All of these words are what we call prefixed words, and I call this program Prefix Smart because it helps kids to look at multisyllabic words and decode at least a portion of them, knowing what the prefix or first letters in that word mean. Remember that much of what we say in English comes from Latin, comes from Greek, and Latin comes into the language, bringing with it prefixes, which are word parts that come before words, and also suffixes, which are word parts that come after words, and they change their meaning. They affect the meanings of the words. Prefixes, roots, suffixes, these are things that your kids should know. But that's when they're in fourth grade. But what about the things before that? What did they miss? And if you go back here, you'll see that most of those kids missed these 4 ideas being implemented in their school curriculum. What did they miss? Well, they missed phonological awareness, which is the umbrella term referring to understanding and manipulating sounds. Our language is a sound-based system. We speak and then we translate those words into symbols called alphabetic letters. Sometimes we'll use 2 or more alphabetic letters to spell or represent or write a sound. For example, when we say chair, we say CH is the ch sound, right? And so we kids need to understand that. And this ties right in to alphabetic awareness, which is the understanding that letters represent or spell sounds. These are huge ideas normally covered in kindergarten, first and second grade. And kids should have mastered those in those early grades. Syllabic awareness. Let's take a look at this. What is syllabic awareness? So if you look at syllabic awareness, its focus is on the ability to recognize and manipulate syllable structures. And what are those syllable structures? We took a look at them the last time. Syllable structures are parts of words that contain a consonant and a vowel, okay? So now we have consonants and vowels, and these are really important. These are structures that, again, your children should be able to spell or know. If I say fey, not only the F sound, but the PH sound makes a huge difference here. And so kids who did not learn these word parts, did not learn syllabic structures, did not learn short vowel sounds, did not learn long vowel sounds, these kids are struggling right now, and you may have sensed that your third grader, your fourth grader, your fifth grader, even your sixth and seventh graders are struggling because of what they missed earlier. So it's time to redress this. It's time to address this. And what you want to do is begin asking, hey, what does my child know and not know? In this video, I'm introducing to you to what they need to know. And I'm going to go back to the fourth grade standards here. And so they're using phonics and word recognition to apply to words that they don't know. At this point, they should not be memorizing sight words. They should be able to decode words based on the sound of the word, based on the structure of the word, based also on this concept here called morphology. Let me just move this over here. Okay, morphology. And what is morphology? Morphology, I'm going to just see if I can highlight this right here. Yeah. Morphology is using roots and affixes or prefixes and suffixes to read unfamiliar words, and that's what I just showed you. So if they know the roots, the Latin roots or the Greek roots or the prefixes or suffixes, they can decode words that are more challenging. At this point, they should be able to read grade level text with sufficient accuracy and fluency. Is your child reading at the right speed? What is your child's reading speed? You need to know these things. And you can do simple tests at home and find out where your children really are. What did they miss during those terrible, terrible years that began in 2020? And what do they need to learn? Because if you get into the fourth grade, and you might graduate into the fourth grade or be promoted into the fourth grade, but you've missed second and third grade, first grade, kindergarten standards, you are going to be suffering academically for the rest of your life. This is the moment. This is the time that you want to address this. So if your kid's in grades 4, 5, 6, or 7, take a test. Find out. Now, we offer that test. I'll tell you more about it. I'll put it in the information, okay? Or you can also call us, email us, and we will offer a test to you that you can do at home, or it can be done through the school, where you will get a really good idea, not in jargon, not in linguistic language that you don't understand, but aligned with state standards. What does my child need to know? What does my child not know? And how can my child learn that information? These are the questions you should be asking, because if you wait, it's going to be too late. These kids have suffered terribly. Those who are in the fourth grade and fifth grade, sixth and seventh grade, their lives were transformed by the pandemic, but so was their education. So let's find out what they need to know, and I'm going to be right here to help you. Remember, I'm Coach V from the Academic Gym.